All right, we're live on Facebook, just waiting on YouTube. There's YouTube, so we're good to go. All right, welcome everybody. Mostly on the replay. Nobody's on the live yet, but y'all be here in a minute. We got a new brother, new friend that we're going to get to know by the name of Robert, and I have to check the spelling on his last name. Forgive me for that. But we'll get to know him here in a minute. Right now, I'm going to put the intro on and allow people time to come in, and so I can share to the network. If these shows resonate with you, please share so we can stay above these gosh damn algorithms at Facebook and YouTube. And we're very thankful for Facebook and YouTube. Don't get me wrong, but if you could help us share, that'd be great. Be right back. How's it going, everybody? Let me just get everything set up. First show of the day. We got 4 today. So it's going to be a powerful day. I can feel it. We got some new faces on. Welcome, YouTube. Welcome, Facebook, Sology Group, Sology One Studios page, and my page. And welcome people on Zoom. We got a new brother in here. His name is Robert Heiwegen. I'm not sure if I got that right, but that's okay. I've messed up plenty of names on this show before. But more importantly, let's get him up here and see what's happening. Hello, New York City. All right, let me pull him up. Let's see. Show. Start video.
Yeah. And
there we go. I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. What's happening, Robert?
Nice to meet you, man.
It's not nice to meet you. Is that a, what kind of accent is that? Is that English or Australian?
Dutch.
Dutch? You're in the Netherlands?
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. We just had a lady on the from the Netherlands yesterday. It was very cool.
Oh.
Don't ask me her name. I can't remember, but she was totally cool. Starts with an E. It was a Dutch name, so nothing I'd ever seen before. So it's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and thanks for coming in, sharing space with us, and honoring us with your presence. My wife, my partner, she's the producer of this show, and she puts the most incredible people in front of me. All I got to do is show up and talk and have a conversation, talk about what's going on. And so I'm excited. I don't know where she found you, but it doesn't really matter. But tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I'm a medium and a healer.
Yeah.
And I help people to get in their own strength again, to empower themselves. And I channel. I teach light language and different courses. And the main thing is I get to know or to feel like what's going on and what is allowed to happen at this moment. And my energy helps your energy with what wants to happen to you for your best.
Yeah. That's a very, we've had almost 2,000 shows. There'll be 2,000 shows this next month. And we have quite a few energy practitioners come on. And cool. It's been interesting to listen to them and talk to them over the last 3+ years. And there's been somewhat of an evolution in their practices that's kind of paralleled our own evolution and expansion, here on the earth.
Mhm.
But one of the things is a vast majority of the ones I've spoken to are feminine. They're females, and we all know in these lightworker communities they've been leading the way for a long time. So it's interesting to see how the journey goes for a male, for a masculine like you. So how long ago did you come into this? I mean, did you have a wake-up experience like a lot of people, go through a lot of trauma, or you woke up with it and then you went to sleep and you entered the matrix and got a traditional job, traditional relationship, and then woke up again? How was
On my 17th, I had a major accident. I was hit by a motorbike, and I was. It took 2 years for my body to heal, and 5 years for mentally to recover again.
Wow.
And then I got involved with an older woman, with a relationship with her, and she took me to a medium, and then suddenly all those things, I felt like I want to. I have a big interest in this part, so I try to develop myself in it. And I started my own business 6 years ago, I guess. And that's when it really started to evolve. And I did quite a lot of different things. I started with Reiki. I've done Shambhala, all kinds of different courses, Theta healing, and the avatar, when you connect to your I am present. Yeah. And but all those things, they have been guiding me to activate my own channel. And I could really feel and sense, like, every time when I tried something, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I want to continue that. But then I got a secondary feeling and then said, no, it's not right. And then I got like close to myself.
Yeah. So, and this is something I've heard before. I don't know how old you are now. You're not very old. I mean, if this happened to you at 17, that must have been 15 years ago, something like that.
It's this year. It's 17 years. So
17 years. Okay, so so that would have been back in like 2003. Wow. So, and then you had a 5-year basically up to 2008. And so what I was getting at is that, I've run into quite a few people who really researched, really submerged themselves in courses and getting certified and familiarizing themselves with many different modalities. And like in your case, even like, for instance, with Reiki, I mean, a lot of people really open up with Reiki and then they move on to other stuff like you have. How much of your practice itself is driven by the research, and the courses and the studies, and how much of it's driven by your personal relationship with infinite intelligence, the information that you receive in downloads and the guidance you receive?
I think all the courses that I did, they were just little steps to activate the tip of the iceberg for my own potential. And when I do a session, I just follow spirit. So I really like doing sessions, because every time something new is coming up, because your healing is my healing.
Exactly.
And it's amazing. I'm flabbergasted sometimes, even like what's allowed to happen. And it's amazing.
So, I mean, if we look at what you do and what so many other people do, there's a lot of different variations, but for the most part, there's a couple of them. One of them would be the type of healer that heals people one way or the other, whether it be physical, mental, emotional, spiritual alignment, chakras, whatever. and then the client continues to come back to the practitioner.
Yeah.
Versus the type of what I call, hope nobody gets mad at me, but like the 5D healer, the 5D, the multi-dimensional healer, the higher dimensional healer is the type that might see you one time, maybe two times, and at the most three times, because it's all about empowering the individual that comes to see you and basically showing them what you do and what they can do for themselves. Would that be something that resonates with you? Can you comment
totally,
on that?
Because we cannot heal anyone. They heal themselves. We just give them the mirror and allow them, hold presence for them, you know. And that's what I really feel in sessions. Like my energy, my consciousness helps the person's conscious and energy to allow what's allowed to happen. And I think the people who say, yeah, I will heal you, they are not very, I think they are still big time in their ego.
No, you're as blunt as I can be. But you know, this is interesting, and I don't think that there's what I noticed at the end of last year. What I noticed was there was a lot of new information coming in, and people were altering dramatically. You might have somebody who's been a healer for 15 or 20 years using particular modality or process, and they start getting all this new information in, and it all changes. Like they don't even use that process anymore, that modality, or they use a new one that came in. And what I saw beginning at the end of last year was the whole yogi guru teacher student thing kind of went away, and it wasn't working anymore. People are not responding to it, and they're starting to ask questions in the form of statements, I guess, and they would say, you know, I'm not getting this, or it's only taken me so far. So I think it's been part of an evolution. Not in some individuals, you see it louder than others, but I think it's a good sign, though, don't you?
Yeah.
That people are taking the responsibility for themselves to heal.
Yeah.
And align.
But I guess there's like the people who are like quite awake, they're gonna look for their own way, you know. They're going to follow their own things. But there is a big part of the people who are just waking up, and they still need this firm guidance, like maybe the belief that someone can help you, and because everyone has their function and everyone has their thing to do in life. So but I guess there's a in the whole spiritual business, in the whole spiritual world, there's there are a lot of people who have like a big ego in the spiritual world as well. And
well, I think we're all being brought to our knees one way or the other this year. 2020 has been extraordinary. We'll talk about that in a minute, but I think, you know, for me, you know, having reawakened 9 years ago, that one of the big understandings was humility. You know, nobody can give you humility. Only you can come to the humility, and the universe has a way of kicking your ass or patting you on the back or whatever it's got to do, you know, to bring you to that point, because that's really a powerful place to be. And then those gifts become much more enhanced. But the other thing I was going to say too is that, you know, I was recently doing some research, and it was in regard to Atlantis, and it was talking about the technology of Atlantis, and basically the method of thinking and communicating, and that at a certain point they pretty much thought in images. Okay, that was where they were at vibrationally, and then the analytical started to come in, and so they kind of combined, I guess you might call the physical and the non-physical technology and the mind, and this was part of the acceleration and the deconstruction of Atlantis, because these psychic abilities expanded, created a very powerful potential, and that potential became abused, and people started to basically invade other people's psychic field.
Yeah.
So this was kind of a microcosm of what happened by this author's, or this clairvoyance explanation. Now, the reason I bring that up is because there's a lot of people that believe we're basically picking up where Atlantis left off, picking up where Lemuria left off, and where Egypt left off. And so here we are. These abilities are becoming enhanced, and we're sharing them, which is different than invading somebody's energy field. And maybe that's what we're observing, is that the old style of spiritual teaching is going away, and the new style is coming to the surface, like what you're doing.
So it's really interesting what's happening, because when you're telling about Atlantis and about the communication thing, and I got something true from, we probably know each other from Atlantis as well. I guess we were brothers somewhere over there. And you are totally right that we moved the communication from our hearts, we moved it to the brain.
Yeah.
And that's very interesting, because when I sense something, that means that there is something allowed to happen as well. And if you can you feel your heart at this moment?
Sure. Yes.
What do you feel that's happening?
Hang on a second.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a picture. So it's hard for me to. What does this look like? It looks like. Can you see here? Hang on. It looks like a. Oh my God! It actually. You know what a uterus looks like? Do you know what a uterus looks like? It looks like that, right? Like that. So what's happening is, from the lower heart, that projection of the lower uterus, this is a shape, I'm not saying it's a uterus, is pushing up energy, particles, fractals. What am I trying to say? Like pixels, like little pixels making up the whole, pushing it up into the higher heart, into the higher heart, into the chest, and it's almost like an accelerator.
That's really cool. And can you feel it? What's happening in your head as well?
So in this space that I just described, there's a soft violet color, and also a golden white color. And now up here, okay, up here, almost like what would you call it? So like nodes, nodes that pick up electricity, like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? So they're like here, and so this accelerator is somehow, it's almost like a triangle here and a triangle here, and it's lighting up the nodes, you know, that kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So what do you feel that means for you?
I think it's for me, a lot of the stuff that comes in, I can't really explain. It's more of a feeling. Yeah. So if I look at your words, your presence, my presence, whatever code that we're opening up in each other, this is some type of effect of the code within myself that's activating more code. And as I say this, I got chills running up and down my legs and my arms. Yeah. And to me, this is why I love to do what I do, because after almost 2,000 shows and 4,000 video productions, one thing I realize is that we can get all the downloads we want, and we can channel, and we can transmit, and we can have past memories, but the most powerful activations that we have come from having a conversation or even looking at each other where two or more gather, right?
Yeah.
There's something about soul to soul that is, and it's becoming more powerful now even. And what you described about your clients, to me, that's the same thing. To me, because my wife's a practitioner, right? And she talks about, and many others have talked about, when the client comes in, if I'm the practitioner, I open up my field fully and totally, and then they do the same. And then that instantly creates a vortex or something, that is much more powerful than just one person on their own, although that's very powerful too. So this is I think, as my wife says, basically this is how we live, learn, and love in the other dimensions, by basically merging our fields.
Yeah. But to come back to your feeling.
Yes.
Could you, do you know what just happened, what we just did in ourselves?
No, other than receiving code or recognizing code in the other person, and therefore activating more of the circuitry in the layers of the conscious body.
Okay.
I'd say it like that.
So it is more like knowledge that there's something
light
happening.
Yeah, light.
Okay, yeah.
I would say light. Yeah, light is knowledge. Yeah.
So what I got is that we both, because this connection, we activated our own feminine energy. That's why you saw the uterus, and it's down in the body, and it's feeling. And as males, the masculine, very long they have suppressed the feelings because they were not allowed. And now we are.
Right on. Right on. That adds up. And I think there's a lot of that going on. The feminine has made its move. The feminine chose herself. And when that happened energetically, that put some good stress on the masculine. And I think the masculine's doing that now. And I think that this is not a coincidence. And it's a microcosm of what's happening to many, many, primarily male incarnations. Because as we give up that false masculine and egoic and shadow and the wounded, distorted masculine, obviously we're going to gain not only the true divine masculine, but the true feminine. Like you said, this has been suppressed, and it's been suppressed in the men's auric fields, their fields of consciousness, as well as the women's.
Yeah.
So,
and I even I have been using those terms, masculine and feminine, as well, but I prefer to divide them in the survival parts and the divine parts, like unconditional love or survival patterns, because both the masculine and the feminine, they both fucked it up to survive. They both have done everything in order to survive. And the only thing for me, how I experienced it, is males are physical stronger. So there come the physical abuse towards women, but women are mentally and emotionally and often spiritually as well. Mentally. I think mentally it's the most powerful part. So mentally and emotionally, they are stronger than men. So there's the emotional and mental abuse. They both abused each other, but it's time to find both divine partners in ourselves.
Yeah. Yes, and I think, and if I think about another thing about Atlantis. Okay. And some of this was downloaded to me. This is just my own. I'm not saying it's the gospel. All right.
Mm-hmm.
But also some of it I was able to validate with other people's writings when I researched it. And I don't think it's anything out of the ordinary, but what I had gotten was that there was a time, there were more than one time on the earth, but Atlantis, or part of Atlantis, because Atlantis was very, very big, okay, was a matriarchal society. It was not a patriarchal society. And then there came a point where the patriarchal and the matriarchal societies clashed, and then the patriarchal went into dominance. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, I like the fact that you kind of de-accentuate the masculine and feminine, because it has caused some confusion, and maybe we can refer to the conditioning and programming that affected everybody from the patriarchal. That is not a masculine or a feminine connotation. That's just the type of realm we've been in for the last few thousand years. Yeah. And so I think that's a good point to because also not the physical incarnation's gender doesn't always follow their dominant energetic gender.
Yeah.
So you've got, bisexual, you've got gay, which is not even a word. I don't know where that word came from, but you know what I mean. You've got the homosexual, heterosexual, bisexual, asexual,
all androgynous.
Yeah. At the end of the day, yes. But as my wife has pointed out, many other people, that you're in a man's body and I'm in a man's body on this particular incarnation for a reason. Doesn't mean we're not androgynous at the core, but it's almost like we have a specific role to fulfill in totality in order to contribute to the collective expansion in its highest potential. Something like that.
Yep.
Far
it's
out
not a, yeah, it's not, I don't think that you can be in the wrong body.
No.
Yeah.
No. I think there's a lot of, well, you're in a very progressive environment. Amsterdam, Netherlands, people are more open. There's more openness and less.
Living in a village that's a lot of Christian people.
Oh.
So it's called the Bible Belt.
Oh, really? I didn't know they had those. I didn't know they had those over there.
Yeah.
We have it over here. It's huge. It's like 20 states long.
Okay.
They call it the Bible Belt.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but I guess that makes sense. I guess there's a little bit of something everywhere, a little bit of everything everywhere, So that's interesting.
Yeah. And oh my God, we don't have to start of all the Christian insanity and shit.
Well, it's interesting too, because if you look at the going back to the Atlantis thing, the demise of Atlantis was and has been documented. Plato and other researchers, that, in other words, the human brain took over, like you said earlier. Yeah. The mind took over the heart. The mind began to lead. So then you had the competition and the greed and the lust and all that stuff. But my point is that Mother Earth and Mother Nature matched that vibration, and it destructed, right? It was sunk. And then we have another episode that was a flood. And then you have another episode that was a drought and a fire. So the earth is following our frequency. Now, one of the things that came out of some of the research that I've done, and I'm not saying it's gospel, it's just something I've learned, is that a lot of the religious templates, organizations, and even governmental came out of the demise or the destruction of Atlantis. And so these were basically patriarchal templates that were intentionally put out there to further that that false dominance, you know, to control and to deceive and to profit and all that. But I think of that stuff starting to break down now to
Yeah.
include organized religion.
Yeah, and that's really interesting because the whole world is on lockdown from the coronavirus. Corona, it means crown, right?
Yeah.
Coronation. We've got a nation with corona. We've got a coronation. But what is coronation? That's when the new one is crowned, right? Yeah. So someone needs to abdicate before that. And I feel you can really see it at this time. Yeah. The government, they are trying to keep control. And I feel all the people is the body. We are the body. But the governments, they are the mind, the brain. Yeah. Yeah. And the brain is trying to control. And I think it's really cool that all this information is coming up. Yeah. And we are going to coronate ourselves.
True. And there's been a lot of people talk about, myself included, you know, and this would be going back about a year for me, but I've heard a lot of people talk about having dimensional experiences and lucid dreams where they're crowned, you know, where there's a crown. And I remember going back a year and a half ago, my wife talking about, and I felt it too, you know, I felt the same thing. I just couldn't put it into words. And then she said it, and that was, it's like and this is before coronavirus. And she said, it's like we're going into a coronation, like a celebration, like a coronation, a crowning, you know. Yeah. So this is good. This is good stuff. So how do we expand from this point? And what I mean by that is, how do we disengage and detach from the programs of the 3D? Although the virus has helped us, the quarantine's helped us, because so many people are no longer going to work. They're restricted in their movements. They can't buy any toilet paper, at least in America. But you know what I mean? I mean, so they're totally, a lot of that stuff energetically has been taken away, which is helping. But how can people detach from the 3D patterns and behaviors and the patriarchal templates in their own way, you know, instead of being forced?
Let's see what comes up.
Okay.
We have to engage all the feelings, all the needs, all the urges that are based in ourselves, that are based on survival. And as fast as we are getting aware of those, things will open up.
Yeah. And
things will come up, and know that you are always safe. And we have everything inside. And everything that's just triggers you or is bothering you is something inside of yourself. That's right. You know, you can say, I hate the government, but there's something else there. It's not the government.
No.
It's something inside of ourselves.
That's right.
So really connecting with the heart and with your whole body, and know that you're not your body. You're not your feeling. You're not your emotion. You're not your thoughts. You're even not the observer. Because when you are the observer and you make decisions that are based on the observation, you are still a victim. But you are the one beyond the observer.
Yeah.
That's a conscious creator.
That's right. That's exactly right. And that's the thing too, is I think people are starting to understand that when I meet someone or someone does something or something happens and it makes me uncomfortable, that it's actually me. So that's a good thing. People are starting to not run from their fears. They're starting to admit it's never them, it's always me. But the next part of it is really exciting to me, and that is the understanding that we are creating the thing. We've been creating this the whole time. but now we can consciously create. And that's why this whole, be careful what you think, because as they say in quantum physics, the observer is the creator. In other words, I'm looking, I take that information in, I can't really spit it out the way it was, because now it's gone through my field and it's going to be impressed in some way, and then it goes out.
Yeah.
So a very good time to guard our thoughts. And I think maybe this is another nice thing about the quarantine, is people are able to spend a lot of time alone thinking, because I don't think as a whole the world's been able to do that.
I even think that it's when you are like, okay, I need to guard my thoughts, then you are like working on the same level as the thoughts. And I feel it's more about like connecting with who you really are. And that means like, don't mirror yourself. Don't, you are consciousness. And the consciousness, love, it doesn't have a name.
True.
But we have done everything to survive, to be Robert, to be taught, to be, and that was the thing. To be an individual, an individual. That's
right. Yeah. Oh, individual.
Yeah. Individual. Yeah.
It's okay.
And
I thought you were giving me some kind of French word. I didn't know.
L'individu.
Yeah, individu. Yes. We're going to have to become multilinguistic. We're multidimensional.
Yeah.
No, I hear what you're saying. And here's the crazy thing. We've all been doing this for a number of years. And so we spend a lot of our time going, oh, I need to detach from that label that I thought I was. I need to integrate that trauma that made me think I was something I wasn't, either as a victimizer or a victim. And so we had all these things, and then healers like yourself would help us to do certain things. But to me, the biggest challenge now is getting comfortable with and familiar with our natural nature. Yep. You're right. It's not about, it's just instinctive, like nature. Nature doesn't think. I watch all the animals in the backyard. They just do their thing. It's natural. And I think that's what we're actually getting reacquainted with. And it's a little bit weird because we've not been in that space before. We've been told you need to go to work 8 to 5. You need to go to church on Sunday. You need to take the kids to everything's got to be like that. But this is actually a very instinctive frequency, a lot like dream state, where we just, in a dream, you're flowing where you're going, and you're creating in the moment. I believe we're gonna. I don't know that we're gonna do it, but I believe we have the opportunity in this dense physical realm to actually do the things we do in dimension.
Yeah, and that's the tricky part, because in order to survive, we always go to the thing that we know. We always go to the comfort zone, to this survival baseline. And so in order, I think that happened as well in Atlantis. We went from the baseline of the heart, we went to the baseline of the mind, survival.
Yeah.
And
good point.
Shall we?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Do you want to channel?
Yeah, sure.
That's what I thought. And you said, what did you just say a minute ago? You just said, oh, yes, about the comfort zone. So really what we're doing is we're aligning with our natural nature, which from where we're coming from is uncomfortable. It's not familiar. And that's a great point. And, you know, I started telling people a couple years ago, because I went on the road and I didn't really have a plan. I didn't have any money, and I was just trying to broadcast by whatever way I could. I would tell them, one thing I'm starting to understand is if it does not make sense, do it. Like if it comes in and says, sell all your stuff, go buy a bus ticket and go across the country.
Well, if it feels uncomfortable, then you have to do it.
That's right. Yeah. So the human's freaking out, but there's a part of the human that we've awakened to that says, I'm going to go do this. But that makes a lot of sense. If it doesn't make sense, do it.
I can feel I get like a pain in my left side of my brain. So something is like, and it was at the moment when I wanted to channel, and you told me, and then you were first going to say something, and from that point on, I got like the pain in the brain, and so the left side is the masculine brain. So okay, now it's connecting with the belly. How does that feel?
I'm watching it. It's so it's the sacral up into the area between the solar and the sacral, and maybe up into the solar, but I can feel it's like an oval shape. And again, it's energies. I don't want to say it's moving. It's more like growing.
Yeah. So it's almost like an egg.
Yeah. Golden egg. An energetic light code birth.
Dragon egg.
Dragon egg. Yeah. I'm big on the dragons, man. We have lots of dragons come in our bedroom.
Cool.
Yeah, it's getting big. I can feel that. It's getting bigger. I don't usually get affected. Well, maybe I don't look at it. Maybe that's what it is. Now it's in the head, right?
Yep. Now the left side and right side of the brains are getting
far out.
And there's something happening on the back side of the neck as well. Because there was this like limitation, because most of our consciousness was placed in our heads because we needed to control things. So it's cool. Now the heart as well. So the top side of the egg before that was exactly on the place of your stomach. And that means with how do you digest energies. So, for example, we are all programmed. Something you can digest and some things you cannot. Because your body, your energy system just doesn't accept them. And then you are going to, you will burp.
We hope it's a burp.
Yeah. Or no.
I'm just yeah, I think that the body, the body is like, it's like the body is the main focus right now, not from our perspective, but from all of our bodies. In other words, it looks like everything's been brought into enough of an alignment. Now it's the body. My wife and I were talking about this last night. We were reading a couple of different people who were basically saying the same thing she was saying, and what you're saying. the mind being mental, masculine, the heart being, and again, this isn't about gender, being spiritual and heart-based, feminine, right? And then there's the body. So we have brought into alignment our mind and our hearts, right? Or the mental and the spiritual. And now the physical body is the last thing that's left. And as she was saying last night, how I haven't treated my body. I haven't cared for my body. And I would imagine most of us are like this, to the same extent that I have the mind, the mental, and the spiritual, the heart, and I would even go further than that. The multidimensional aspects, our higher selves, we've paid a lot of attention. We've spent a lot of time up there, and it's all gone down. And now what's left is the body. And so,
and to integrate.
Yeah, and to your point, how do you digest this information, this light, this code? And you're going to be gaseous because the body's not prepared to do it. It's not made enough of a transformation in itself. And that's going to require all of us. And this isn't about vegan, and this isn't about breatharian. This isn't about anything like that. I'm talking about a conscious choice for each individual to make on their own that's in alignment and balance for themselves. But most of all, to honor and revere, trust, and love the body,
Amen to this.
The same thing you were talking about. Whoo!
There is something left in the head over here. What is it?
That's the feminine or the masculine?
It's masculine side.
Left side.
Yeah.
Left side. Oh yeah, left, right, left
Yeah.
brain, right side.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Let's
Can you ask?
Yeah, I will check it. Oh, that's so funny. It feels like a part. Oh my God. A part of the feminine energy of our heart has been placed over there in the left side brain.
That sounds like a good thing.
No, because it has been taken over by the masculine.
I got you.
So that's so funny. So they really we programmed ourselves to that the feminine also, it's a survival patterns. So now it's allowed to return to its original place.
Good.
Okay, there it goes. It feels it goes back to the womb.
Back to the womb.
Yeah. Because men have an energetical womb as well.
Yes.
That makes sense because in my experience, men, their true power lies in their third eye, connects with the heart. And for women, it's in their womb. But here on Earth, it has been reversed. So men, it has been placed in their little head.
Mm-hmm.
In the that's why men just follow the direction of their dick.
Yeah.
And women, it has been placed in their head. So that's why women are so emotionally and mentally powerful. And that has to change. And it feels like something is happening there right now.
Mm.
So the part of the feminine that was placed in the head is now returning back to the womb. but that means that the part of the masculine that has been placed over there is allowed to return as well. But this was a condition for life and a condition for love. But both are unconditional. Can you feel what's happening?
Yeah, I can see what's happening.
Do you want to share anything?
Yeah, my wife just put up a comment. I didn't even know she was here. She says that's why he was always trying to get into the pussy, and she was always mentally trying to get into his heart.
Mentally trying to get into his heart or into his head. I think
But you get what I'm saying, what she's
saying.
Yeah. So,
okay. And who is he? Is he referring to you or just in general?
I think not just me. Although at one time that was the case.
Maybe it was a private comment.
I believe me, I've totally detached from the old, and it took a long time. Okay, my balls got cut off. I mean, I lost my erection. I lost my manhood. I got stripped to nothing, and I thought, what the hell do I do now? You know. And yeah, not literally.
Okay. Okay.
I'm powerful. I'm not that powerful. I had to been gone already. I'd be like, no, forget it. But no, energetically, that's what happened over a period of a couple of years. But what has happened, and my wife and I have done shows on this, and I've talked about it, is that once I got down to where there was nothing left, then all of a sudden this power, this sacred sexual masculine power started coming out, and it hasn't, it's just getting started. But all I can tell you is that it's incredible. You know, it's absolutely incredible. And I know that myself and many others are just getting started on this path. But there's no doubt that it starts with the feminine, with the womb, right? Like connecting to the energetic womb, connecting to the mother, you know, connecting to the feminine. There's something about that. I can't explain it totally.
Yeah.
You know, but
I think that's the biggest wound of the womb.
Yeah.
That most men have as well, because that's where they come from. They come from the womb, and so that's where men want to go back. So that's why they want to get in that pussy, as your wife said.
Yeah.
But
fascinating discussion.
Yeah, but I even feel as long as we make this separation between masculine and feminine, we will not get there. We have to see them as one. And we can only do that not from a point of view from the earth, not from I'm a man, you are a woman, not from I'm a healer and you are I don't know what. But only like we are all consciousness, we are all divine consciousness, and in earth we are in masculine and feminine bodies, male and female bodies, but in the end they both come from the same source.
Yes. Yeah, I think that, but again, there's a reason that you're in a male body, I'm in a male body, Morgan's in a female body. It's almost like at the physical matter level, which isn't just physical matter, because we are still, you know, our multidimensional selves. We are still our auric field. We are all of that, right? But it's almost like in the physical, let's just say we've separated into two parts, and that in order to get back to that androgyny and not just have it apply in the non-physical etherical fields, but actually in the most dense physical realm, that we have to wholly and whole become the masculine, the feminine, and then they come together. And I'll give you an example. Like, one of the things that's happened in sacred sex, okay, is, as my wife and I have been on this journey, now there's no like thrusting. There's it's not like the same type of movements that we had before, all of us. So there can be the slow and deepest penetration, and he doesn't even have to move, because the internal part of the womb starts doing all kinds of crazy stuff that's not even controlled by the woman. So this is like the third energy. This is like the creation energy, the Trinity energy, the womb energy. And it's I think it's got some kind of link to the non-physical, and the fact that we're in the physical and literally transmutating, transforming this distorted, confused energetic field by bringing it back to the one through these types of encounters, as well as the type of encounters that you have on your sessions when you open up to somebody and they open up to you, and then everything starts to happen.
Yep.
It's a fascinating subject, and I'm in elementary school, so I don't know that much about it, but I do know that it seems like it's taken on a physicality in our lives, all of our lives, across the board.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting all hot in here, man.
Yeah,
sweaty.
It is, yeah. So I at one moment I even got this like men and women on Earth, they are not we are not programmed to empower ourselves, but we both take from each other. So
yeah,
and that's the whole survival. Our whole energy system, it's automatically just grabs and gives away.
Yeah.
So that we never, okay, you can feel just for a little while, you can feel like really empowered, but then it's gone again, and you need this, you need something external. So fully activate your heart chakra and be conscious about your consciousness.
Yeah.
And that you are masculine and feminine.
True.
And you don't need an external partner to survive.
True. That's absolutely
true. But we are still programmed to need someone.
Well, I agree. And I think that you first have to, well, that internal divine union, that internal recognition and empowerment of both genders within yourself, obviously that's been written about, in sacred texts for thousands and thousands of years. But why did we come here? That's what I look at. We're actually the gods and the goddesses playing in the physical environment. This is all our creation. And there's something about the creation and the creator, right? The creator being the creation's creation, actually then doing it as two versus one. Like, to me, this is where this gets real interesting. To me, this is what we're trying to do and have been trying to do for many, many thousands of millennia, is to create a physical matter that is matching the energetic, the non-physical, including instant manifestation, including unconditional love, service to others. I think about what we're doing, 8 billion people on this earth, and all the people that have come and all the people that will come, souls. And I think, wow, this has got to be, if not the most polarized realm, one of them, there's such extremes in this duality, and we're actually bringing them together. And when we bring them together energetically in so many different ways in our daily life, it's creating an expansion in this universe that it's never seen before.
Yeah. We are here to create a heaven on earth.
That's right. Right on. You got a bunch of comments coming up here.
Okay.
So, man, this was the first show of the day, and I'm all hot. I'm gonna have to go take a shower, man.
Cool.
I like to make jokes. I really enjoyed talking to you. I had no idea what I was getting into. We have to do it again. We have to do it again. If you're open for it.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, we're kind of booked through the end of the month. We're going to be in transit. We're going to look for a place to settle down. Please. and then we'll be back on it. So yeah, we'll reach out to you. You're a beautiful brother. Thank you for coming. Thank you for showing up.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming to the show too. I meant showing up on Earth and bringing your great energy, and keep on doing it. Hey, why don't you tell people, if you're interested, take a couple of minutes and let people know how they can contact you, what you do, and if you have anything coming up that you might want them to know about.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Right now?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So you can contact me just on Facebook or send me a message. I work on remotely as well, via Facebook, video chat, or Skype, or WhatsApp, video call. Everything's possible. Every Wednesday evening, I have a remote transmission that's called Align Yourself. It's from 11:30 till 12:30. It's 1 hour of energy, and I just going to align, and it's like just a healing session, but because I sit down and I do it, and I offer it for people to help people, and just for €10 for one time, or for 4 times, €33. If you want to join, you can send me a message as well. You can contact me on Facebook, or send me an email on info@touchofsource.nl, and or send me a friend request. That's always interesting. What else can I share? Oh yeah, I do free 5-minute calls. Then I just gonna tell you, like, okay, what do I get? What's allowed to happen at this moment? And sometimes it's enough, and there's just free healing.
Yeah.
And people react. So
I just want everyone to know that Wednesday would be from 5 to 6 Eastern time.
It is not necessary, but you can receive it at the same time in your country, so it doesn't matter. Or if you, with the intention, it's the same time.
Okay.
So,
yeah. Just
because
so that,
energy, there's no boundaries, right? Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So okay, very cool. So we'll do this again. I would encourage you, Robert, to I sent you a friend request, by the way.
Yeah. No, I already sent you one.
Oh, so, you did. Oh, you sent me one. Okay. Yeah. So I would go to my page, and go to the video when it's over, and put whatever information you want in the comments. And then I would also go, just a suggestion, I would go to Soulology One Studios on YouTube, and because it's live there too, and I would put your information in the comments there, because you'll get people reaching out to you. And we'll do it again next month. Okay.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
All right, man. You
and see what has happened till then.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, that's one thing that I'd like to share. You know, the Namaste, like after I've done that like a lot of time, but at a certain time it didn't feel okay. It felt too feminine for me.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
And then I came up with 1, 2 in Lakesh.
In Lakesh. Peace out. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
All
Take
right,
care.
All right, Robert.